Hello my beautiful little kittens. In this video we're going to be doing a guide for Furina's best artifacts. We're going to be going through the sets, the stats, what you need, what you should use, a full guide for artifacts. So yeah, let's begin. Alright, so first of all, starting off with our artifact sets. Just straight up the best and simplest, and your default set is going to be the golden troop. The 4-piece golden troop is going to be pretty good on her. The 2-piece is going to give you elemental skill damage bonus, which is pretty good. Most of your damage is going to be coming from your elemental skill. And then the 4-piece is pretty much just going to be giving you the same effects, and even more if you're not on field. And you won't be on field with Furina. So it's just like a perfect set for Furina. You're just going to be getting a ton of elemental skill damage bonus, which is pretty good. That's like pretty much all of your damage. So any damage increases to that is going to be pretty good. You can also use the Furina's glow. I'd probably butchered that name, but it's fine. That's going to be giving you HP from the 2-piece, which you're going to need. And then also elemental skill and burst damage from the 4-piece. If you lose HP, you're going to be losing HP constantly with Furina, so it's going to count as taking damage, and you can have probably like the full passive. So you're going to have a ton of elemental skill and burst damage increase, which is also pretty good. And on top of that, you're going to gain some HP from the 2-piece. Now, I'm pretty sure the golden troop will probably be a little better, but generally speaking, they're on the same, league. So if you want to farm like the Furina's, it's fine. The golden troop is like the best option, but the Furina's is definitely fine too. It's pretty much the same thing. It's like less than 1 or 2% damage difference. So you can go for whatever you have farmed already, or you want to farm best domain, best substats, whatever. Now, finally, for the 4 pieces, we have the Marshal's Hunter. That's definitely going to be less damage from C0 to C5, but at C6, it's going to be actually pretty good. It's going to increase your normal and charge attacks damage, which you're going to need at C6 Furina. And then it's also going to increase your crit rate, which is also pretty good when your HP increases or decreases, which is going to happen with Furina. You're going to be able to have the full stacks. Again, at C0 to C5, it's definitely going to be worse than the Golden Troop and the Furina's Glow. But at C6, it's going to be a little better than both of them. But only at C6 again. I probably wouldn't really recommend farming this set from like the get-go unless you know for sure you're going for C6 Furina. In that case, farm it. But other than that, I'd say just stick to the Golden Troop or the Furina's. Because even at C6, it won't be like miles better. It's just going to be a little better. But, if you don't know you're C6 in her for sure, then just don't farm this set. Now, finally, you can also use like 2-piece sets, even though it's not really recommended like at all. It's going to be way less damage, and it's generally not good. I mean, come on, she's an Archon. Give her respect. Give her a good 4-piece and you're done. But yeah, if you still want to go for 2 pieces, either if it's like temporary until you can farm a good 4-piece or whatever, you can mix any 2 pieces from like HP Hydro, HP Energy Recharge, whatever. Just any of those is going to work pretty well. You have like the Heart of Depth, Tenacity of the Millelith, Emblem Severed Fate for Energy Recharge, Nymph's Dream for Hydro damage, Furina's 2-piece for the HP, whatever. You can also do like a 2-piece Golden Troop for the elemental damage bonus. Anything like that, 2 pieces, it can work. Energy Recharge, damage bonus, HP, anything like that is going to work. Definitely wouldn't recommend though. It's going to be just way worse than any like of the 4 pieces I mentioned before, but you're probably going to be able to manage with it until you can, find a good 4-piece. So yeah. Alright, so now moving on to the stats you want on your artifacts. Before we continue with that though, please make sure to subscribe. I mean, I haven't really been saying it, but when I don't say it, people just don't subscribe. So it's like, what's going on? Just subscribe. Come on. You're going to see more videos about Furina, other characters, a lot of fun content here. You subscribed? Okay, good kidding. Okay, I'm kidding. Don't unsubscribe. Come on. But yeah, for the artifact stats, generally you'd want to be aiming for these stats first, and depending on that, what you have already and stuff like that, you're going to see on which ones you can go for on your main stats and stuff like that. So the first thing you want to make sure you have is around 40,000 HP. 40,000 HP is where like her passive overcaps, and you cannot really gain like damage bonus anymore. But it's also like a good amount of HP in general that you'd want to have on Furina, because she scales with HP, stuff like that. You'd want to have at least like 40k HP on her. Or sorry, not at least, just around that. You don't really want to go over it at all. I would say you can go a little below it. It's better than going like much over over it. So if you have like 37k, 36, somewhere around that, it's cool. You don't have to like force some HP stat and then go to like 45k. Just stay around it, 36, 37 to 40, 41, around that is pretty good. It doesn't really matter that much. It doesn't have to be like 40k exactly, but just make sure you have around this HP. The second thing is energy recharge, and this heavily depends on like your team and your weapons, the weapons on your team and stuff like that. But generally, I would just recommend having at least 180 energy recharge. Now, you can definitely get away with less in some teams. If you have like double hydro, a Favonius on some character, or a Favonius on her, you can probably get away with like 140, 150 energy recharge. But the thing is, you don't really know on which teams you're gonna play her. Because like, she's a very flexible character. She's an Archon, and Archons are usually like very flexible. She works with a lot of characters, and she's gonna work with a lot of like upcoming characters in the future. So you definitely want to keep her and build her to be flexible, you know what I mean? You don't want to like have to build her with only like hydros or something like that. So if you want to farm for her and like have a good set on her and then leave it forever, just make sure you have like 180 energy recharge. It's gonna be enough for like pretty much all the teams in the game, and it won't really matter if you swap her, if you have Favoniuses and stuff like that. It wouldn't really matter. You just have enough energy recharge for every team. That's why I recommend going for at least like 180, maybe 190 or somewhere around that energy recharge, and then be done with it forever. And then finally, you'd want to get crit. You'd want to keep, the normal 1-to-2 ratio, and then really go for as much crit as you can. At least like 50% crit rate, 100% crit damage, or more, or whatever. Now, that being said though, those are the stats you need. Knowing that, let's move on to your main stats, and we're gonna see. So first of all, on your sands, you'd want either energy recharge or HP. It depends on you, on like what you need to get the stats you're seeing right now. Generally speaking, I would heavily recommend just going HP on your sands, unless you're really struggling with energy recharge. For energy recharge, I would probably just recommend going with like an energy recharge weapon, and then some energy recharge substats, and you're good. And then you'd want to go to HP on your sands. But if you really need energy recharge and you're struggling to like meet the requirements, in that case, you could definitely go energy recharge on your sands. So yeah, for your sands, either energy recharge or HP. That's it. All right, now moving on to your goblet. On your goblet, you'd want either HP or hydro damage bonus. So which one of them is going to be better for damage? First of all, they're going to be pretty close, but it's just really going to depend on which team and which artifacts you have, which weapon and stuff like that. So like if you already have a lot of damage bonus, HP is probably going to be better. For example, you're using like the golden troop set, you're having like Kazuha on your team, you're having a weapon that's going to give you like elemental skill damage bonus, stuff like that. In that case, an HP goblet is probably going to perform better. But if you don't really have that much damage bonus going on, generally a hydro damage bonus is going to be better for damage. The thing is that I would just recommend farming HP, to be honest, because the difference between them is not really that big anyways. It's going to be like a very minimal difference. Even if you're not using damage bonus or you're using like either way, it's not going to be a big difference. So for that, I would just recommend having HP on your goblet, just to make sure you have the, required amount of HP. And then on your circlet, you can go for other things, as we're going to see in a little bit. So yeah, which one of them is better? It's really going to depend, but I personally just prefer HP for you to make sure you have enough HP. Oh yeah, and also substats are going to be a factor too. Whichever of them have the better substats, you should probably go for it too. Also, HP is easier to farm, so yeah. And now for the final main stat is your circlet. On your circlet, you'd want to go either crit or HP. The thing is, crit is going to be much better than HP for damage. Unless you don't have enough HP, in that case, you're going to be forced to go HP. That's why I said just go HP on your goblet, because it's not going to matter whether you go HP or hydro, damage bonus is going to be a minimal difference. But HP and crit, it's going to be a big difference. So that's why I'd rather you guarantee having enough HP from your goblet, so you don't have to go HP on your circlet. Just, go crit, it's going to be better. So yeah, on your circlet, I would just definitely recommend going crit, either crit rate and crit damage, whatever of them you need, depending on your weapon, stuff like that. But if you still don't have enough HP, you can go HP on your circlet too. HP is definitely worse, but it's also definitely usable. It's not like miles worse or anything like that. It's still usable. It's not like terrible, but crit rate is definitely going to be the better stat. All right, so now finally moving on to the substats. For the substats, it really depends on like what you have already. As I said, those are the stats you mainly want to aim for. So with your substats, you just want to supplement your main stats pretty much. That's like the main goal. So you'd want energy recharge, HP, and then crit from your substats. That's pretty much really it. That's all you need. Which of them you'd want to prioritize? As I said, it depends on what you need. If you ask me, I would say just probably prioritize energy recharge. As I said, you'd want to get it from your substats and then probably your weapon, and you're going to reach that 180 mark and you're good. It's generally going to be enough if you get enough substats with an energy recharge weapon. And then you'd probably want to get crit. Crit is going to be pretty important too. You'd want to get quite a bit from your substats. You definitely want to get quite a bit because you know the only sources that she scales with crit, and then you have a crit circlet. So unless you're using a crit weapon, in that case you're good. But other than that, you definitely want to get quite a bit of crit substats to reach at least that 50% crit rate, 100% crit damage mark. And then for HP, you probably have enough HP already. As I said, you could go HP on her sands, goblet, stuff like that. But you know, some extra HP substats wouldn't really hurt. But yeah, as I said, the substats just really depends on what you went with for a weapon, and for the main stats, it just really depends. Because like if you went with energy recharge on your sands, you definitely don't want energy recharge on your substats and stuff like that. I repeat, the main thing you'd want to look for is to, you know, kind of reach these stats: 40k HP, 180 energy recharge, and then a good crit ratio. And for that, you'll be the one knowing which substats you'd want to go for. And yeah, I repeat, it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be like a nerd about it. Just, you know, go 35k HP, a little less crit, a little more, stuff like that. It's fine. I mean, I don't have to say this, but some people are like, you know, no, I gotta 39k HP, I gotta max out the passive. No, it doesn't have to work like that. Just get around these stats and you wouldn't really notice a difference. It's pretty much the same thing. But yeah, that was the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.